All right, moving on to my sleepers and streamers for week 13. We got two quarterbacks. We have a wide receiver and a tight end. The first quarterback is Jacoby Brissett, who leads the NFL with 43.5 pass attempts per game and 314.5 pass yards per game as a starter this season. And believe it or not, he has the fourth most fantasy points among quarterbacks over the last 4 weeks. And on top of that, he's the only quarterback to have a top 12 fantasy finish in 6 straight games this season. On the other side of the ball, the Buccaneers have been funneling fantasy points to quarterbacks over the last 4 weeks. They've allowed the most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks since week 9. My next sleeper or streamer at quarterback this week is Sam Darnold, and he has his opportunity to get revenge against the Vikings for letting him walk this offseason. Outside of the revenge game factor, I like Darnold this week because of his ability to throw the deep ball. On those throws, he has the highest completion rate by over 7%, and a lot of that is factored in by his plus 23.6% completion rate over expectation, which is the highest in a season in the NGS era. The Vikings, on the other hand, they've had some difficulties defending the deep pass. They've allowed the most EPA per deep pass attempt and the second highest completion rate over expectation on deep passes this season. Moving on to some position players, Troy Franklin leads the Broncos with 46 receptions and 5 receiving touchdowns this season. His opponent this week is the Commanders team that is allowing the third most fantasy points per game to wideouts. Washington has allowed 5 top 12 fantasy wide receivers in their last 5 games after allowing just 2 in their first 6 games. Now, a bit into the weeds here, but Franklin leads the Broncos wide receivers with 17 targets behind the line of scrimmage this season. The Commanders have been very bad at defending wide receiver targets behind the line of scrimmage, allowing the second most yards per target and 10.5 yards after catch per reception, which is the most in the NFL on those type of targets. All right, the last sleeper I want to highlight is tight end Theo Johnson, who plays in New England on Monday Night Football. Johnson leads the Giants with 5 receiving touchdowns this season and just posted a career-high 77 receiving yards against the Lions in Week 12. On the other side of the ball, the Patriots are allowing the second most targets and third most receptions to the tight end position, but the most important part to this sleeper option is the health of Jackson Dart. So pay attention to how Dart progresses through the concussion protocol, as he is trending in the right direction to play on Monday night, but Johnson's output is heavily influenced by Dart being on the field. Johnson has averaged 11.9 fantasy points per game with Dart as the starter, but only 5.6 in games without Dart.